in the line of a Muqallid inheritor to the last prophet and the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's 7. And the Muqallid is the number 7. And I am that Muqallid. And my name is Imam Al-Hajj Al-Mujadidi. Being in line of that inheritance as a benefactor, my obligation is termed narrator. And that's a synonym, anonym to that word, a narrator, a narrator. And narration. One has become very intimate with the sources of books that are called M.U.S.A books. These books were written, for the most part, in Arabic and translated to other language, like Urdu. Give you an intimate connection with the inspiration called firasat of the awliya, especially the Mujdid Imam Rabbani, Qudisaturu ta'ala alayhim ajween. This authorization as a Muqallid, even though you might recite the words of being a taqlid, it has to be accepted by Allah. You can't be in the line of inheritance in this way with just your desire of your nafs, your amara. And how do you know the difference? Listen to a Muslim leader and listen to us, to me, and any Muslim leader on earth concerning any subject. And today we're going to talk about Nikka. Islamic practices are practice that protects Iman, that protects the new Marifah from the heart of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the Hujjah Sadat in the family, that makes this marriage contract sacred. Just as sacred as the sacred months that are 4 in Al-Hijrah. As we said in various earlier videos, that Nikka has always been the process of marriage of the M.U.S.A. None of the Nabis or Rasul committed zina. This is the highest, most reason why adultery after Nikka was capital punishment of death. At the same time, it was a capital punishment, it still is a capital punishment of death, is that the high standards of punishment involve having 4 witnesses. And not any witnesses, not any 4 Muslims, but Sali Muslims, Muslims who didn't commit any haram, or was not known to commit haram. And that's very, very, very difficult to find, especially in Dahar, in a society dominated by non-Muslims. So, usually an occasion in Medina, Munawwara, and Mecca Mukarramah, those who died by stoning because of adultery just simply was just guilt, overweight, and burden, and they just admitted to it. Same it is with the matter of murdering other Muslims. So in Nikka, if a husband would murder his wife, or wife murder her husband, the standards are very high. It's not left to idiosyncrasies left to women caprice. The standards are very high, much higher than you get in the criminal codes in USA, because it is a matter that is sacred. So when the vows of Nikka exchange and both husband and wife agree on the terms of M.U.S.A, and they agree on the mutual obligations to themselves and to the potential family in matters of like talaq, divorce, and faraid, inheritance, and other matters, then they can cohabitate. So consummation of Nikka does not occur before the vows. They occur after the vows. It's zina if it occurs before the vows. It's a matter. The marriage contract can be violated and suspended if it occurs before the vows. And if a Muslim decides to marry a non-Muslim, is makruh, though the nikah is still valid. And the reason it's makruh is because Allah has commanded no tawab for the man who married the non-Muslim in nikah. And no tawab means his benefits only left on earth. Not the benefits that he gets from his children, his offspring, but the relationship between him and his wife. In respect to a Muslim marrying a non-Muslim, a kahir, is haram. Which means that if she does, she loses her imam. Though she might think that she have imam, she don't. And it goes through two other matters. This is why it's necessary after Salatul Jumu'ah to renew your iman individually before wali or imam, stating Amintu billahi mukaddi bisurihi yamikari saurihi bituhakum wa tasidikuhu wa ashhadu hamdu rasuluhu. This is an obligation after Salatul Jumu'ah every month, 4 times a month. Also, renewing your nikah is also required after Salatul Jumu'ah. 4 times a month, throughout the hijrah, throughout the year, it's required. And we'll get a minute to why it's so important to renew the nikah and renew the iman after Salatul Jumu'ah in a minute. So when we attend Salatul Jumu'ah, we attend Salatul Jumu'ah according to the statement of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He made very emphatic statements concerning Salatul Jumu'ah, some in which some of the elite of the Sahabas had great difficulty with it, such that when he made statements like he felt as though he wanted to burn the houses down of Muslims who didn't attend Salatul Jumu'ah. Wait a minute. So it's not a light matter of displeasing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even though he has died, the same concern should exist in your heart, because it is his face that you want to see when the dead arise from the grave. And if you don't see his face, whoa. And for those who think that they are wiser than him, or they're wiser than the Quran, wiser than Abu Bakr Siddiq, Umar Khattab, Ibn Affan, Ali Abu Talib, and Ahlul Bayt? Whoa. So the practices of renewing the Iman and renewing the Nikka is such that the accumulation of vices of Shaitan unto himself is so great that he's very effective at undermining Iman regardless of the practices of Islam. And the number one reason why is the number reason why Allah Ta'ala took our nafs as his enemy. Because our nafs is malignant. It wants to be the leader. It wants to be the Khalifa. It wants to be the Imam. It wants to be Hubble. So when the Rashida Caliphs like Umar Khattab were talked about in the book M.U.S.A by Hujjat Islam Imam Muhammad Ghazali, Radiyan, we find that innovating and subjugating the nafs, our nafs, is such a priority that if we don't do it by dhikrullah 7 times a day and 15 times a day in the month of Ramadan Mubarak, in practicing Rabi al-Sharif, we won't win through. We won't win through. Umar Khattab was so effective that Rasulullah said that if there was a prophet after him, it would be Umar Khattab. And there's no prophet, and there's no Rasul, no Nabi after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If there was, it would be Umar Khattab. Because of his insistence is eliminating his nafsi amara as the enemy of Allah. And he today, in 2025, in the sacred month of Zul Hada, who inflames his nafs with haram practices, becomes the enemy of Allah. He hears what should not be heard. He sees what he should not have sight of. His hand touches what should not be touched, and his feet carry his body in direction he should not go. His members become the gates of Jahannam because of his nafs, the amara. Ignorance does that. Ignorance does that. Ignorance calls the human being members to lead him to Jahannam in his ignorance of his nafs. So whose fault is it? Yours or mine. Not our parents. So this accountability and responsibility is why many men and women shouldn't have children. Many men and women shouldn't have Nikka. Many men and women shouldn't have leadership positions because they neglect the enemy of Allah. and you find these statements being sahih and not bitir inside Bukhari, inside Muslim. Wa alaikum assalam wa alaikum.
Alright.